Question 1. In the context of HVAC ventilation, ISTA manages a commercial building where occupants frequently complain of stale air and occasional headaches. You suspect the outdoor air intake is insufficient. What should ISTA prioritize to improve occupant health while maintaining energy efficiency? A. Increasing outdoor air intake volume beyond the minimum ASHRAE requirements. B. Enhancing filtration efficiency without changing ventilation rates. C. Balancing outdoor air intake to meet ASHRAE's ventilation standards while optimizing energy recovery. D. Sealing all outdoor air intakes to reduce contaminants from outside. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Proper ventilation balances indoor air quality and energy consumption. Increasing outdoor air intake arbitrarily may improve IAQ but drastically increases energy use, reducing efficiency. Enhancing filtration alone doesn't address inadequate fresh air, which is critical to dilute indoor pollutants and co-buildup. Sealing outdoor air intakes eliminates fresh air sources, worsening air quality. Meeting ASHRAE ventilation rates ensures sufficient fresh air, while energy recovery ventilators ERVs reclaim energy from exhaust air, optimizing efficiency and health. Question 2. Which of the following best explains why maintaining relative humidity between 40–60% is crucial in commercial buildings, as Mr. Patel notices frequent mold growth in his office after recent rains? A. Low humidity increases dust mite activity, worsening allergies. B. High humidity inhibits mold spores, reducing airborne biological contaminants. C. Maintaining this range minimizes microbial growth and supports occupant comfort. D. Humidity has no significant effect on indoor air quality. Ventilation is more important. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Maintaining indoor relative humidity between 40–60% is vital because it limits mold growth, dust mite populations, and viral survival. High humidity fosters mold and mildew, while very low humidity irritates respiratory systems. Contrary to option D, humidity strongly affects IAQ. Ventilation alone cannot control moisture-related biological contaminants. Humidity control complements ventilation and filtration by controlling moisture-driven IAQ issues. The other options misunderstand humidity's role in mold and allergen management. Question 3. Given the circumstances, is Roberts discovers elevated VOC levels in a recently renovated conference room. What immediate action should she recommend to mitigate occupant exposure? A. Increase fresh air ventilation and source control by removing or sealing off VOC-emitting materials. B. Install high-efficiency particulate air HEPA filters to trap VOCs. C. Lower indoor temperature below 20 to reduce VOC off-gassing. D. Use ultraviolet germicidal irradiation (UV) to neutralize VOC molecules. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. VOCs are gaseous chemical pollutants emitted by materials like paints, adhesives, and furnishings. Increasing ventilation and source removal are primary control measures. However, HEPA filters capture particulates, not gases, so they don't reduce VOCs. Lowering temperature slightly reduces off-gassing, but is not an immediate practical mitigation. UV targets microorganisms, not chemical pollutants. The best immediate response combines source control and ventilation. UV doesn't affect VOCs, making option D incorrect. Question 4. During the process of an IAQ assessment in a multi-tenant office, Mr. Simmons finds that the building is under negative pressure relative to outdoors. What consequence is most likely and what corrective action is advisable? A. Increased infiltration of outdoor pollutants. Adjust HVAC to balance pressure positively or neutrally. B. Reduced indoor pollutant concentrations due to air flowing out. No action needed. C. Increased humidity inside the building. Install dehumidifiers immediately. D. Decreased ventilation rates. Replace air filters to restore airflow. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Negative pressure causes outdoor air to be drawn through uncontrolled openings, potentially bringing in pollutants, moisture, and odors, degrading IAQ. Balancing pressure to slightly positive or neutral reduces this infiltration. Negative pressure does not reduce pollutant concentrations, it usually worsens them. Increased humidity may result but is not directly caused by pressure alone. Filter replacement addresses filtration pressure imbalance, so option D is irrelevant here. Question 5. Which of the following best describes why ISTA should prioritize using a particle counter over a basic co-meter during an IAQ investigation for dust and allergen complaints? A. Particle counters measure airborne particulate sizes and concentrations. Co-meters only track ventilation adequacy. B. Co-meters are more accurate and comprehensive for detecting all indoor contaminants. C. Particle counters can detect VOC concentrations better than co-meters. D. Co-meters provide real-time biological contaminant identification, unlike particle counters. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Particle counters quantify airborne particulate matter, including dust, allergens, and some bioaerosols by size and concentration, essential for complaints related to particulates. Co-meters indicate ventilation effectiveness by measuring occupant exhalation gases, not particulate levels. Option B incorrectly states co-meters are more accurate for all contaminants. They only measure co. Particle counters cannot detect gases like VOCs, and co-meters do not identify biological contaminants. Hence, particle counters are superior for particulate-specific IAQ issues. Question 6. From the perspective of ethical responsibility, ISTA faces a dilemma. His client wants him to downplay high radon readings to avoid expensive mitigation. What is the appropriate professional response? A. Comply with the client's request to protect their financial interests. B. Document findings accurately and advise mitigation per safety standards regardless of client pressure. C. Suggest delaying radon testing until after renovations are complete to avoid issues. D. Only report radon levels if they exceed twice the EPA recommended limit. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Ethical practice requires transparent, accurate documentation of all IAQ findings, including radon levels, and advising mitigation according to established safety standards. Downplaying or withholding information endangers occupant health and violates professional codes. Suggesting testing delays manipulates data but is unethical. Radon reporting thresholds are set by guidelines. Underreporting is unacceptable. Therefore, the correct action is to document and advise mitigation regardless of client pressure. Question 7. In a scenario where Gomez is evaluating a hospital HVAC system, which component should she focus on to reduce airborne bacteria transmission most effectively? A. Increasing duct insulation to prevent temperature fluctuations. B. Upgrading to MERV 13 or higher filters with UVG installed downstream. C. Adding more outdoor air intake without upgrading filtration. D. Installing humidity control devices only. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. While filtration upgrades and UVG can reduce airborne pathogens, humidity control in the 40–60% range also inhibits survival and transmission of many bacteria and viruses. Increasing outdoor air intake alone may not sufficiently reduce microbial loads without filtration. Duct insulation impacts energy efficiency, not microbial control. Combining filtration, UVG, and humid control offers best protection. Option D focuses on an essential factor often overlooked that affects microbial viability. Question 8. Considering the evidence, ISTA Ahmed finds consistent carbon monoxide spikes near combustion appliances. What immediate strategy should he implement? A. Increase ventilation near combustion sources and ensure appliances are properly vented and maintained. B. Install additional particulate filters in the duct system. C. Raise indoor temperature to speed co-dissipation. D. Seal all combustion appliances to prevent cogeneration. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. CO is a dangerous gas from incomplete combustion. Immediate mitigation involves improving ventilation to dilute CO and inspecting and maintaining appliances to ensure correct combustion and venting. Particulate filters do not remove CO gas. Temperature changes have negligible effects on CO levels. Sealing combustion appliances without ventilation is unsafe and can worsen CO accumulation. Correct operation. Ventilation of combustion sources are critical controls for CO safety. Question 9. When analyzing building pressurization impacts, Rivera notices that occupants near a loading dock experience increased dust and odors inside. Which is the best explanation and solution? A. Positive pressure near the loading dock forces contaminants inside. It balances building pressure neutrally in seal openings. B. Negative pressure draws outdoor contaminants inside. It adjusts HVAC to neutral or slightly positive pressure. C. Increased ventilation rates are causing re-entrainment of pollutants. Reduced ventilation. D. Installing high-efficiency filters at air intakes will solve the problem without addressing pressure. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Negative pressure causes outdoor contaminants to infiltrate, increasing dust and odors indoors, especially near pollutant sources like loading docks. Positive pressure pushes air out, reducing infiltration. Increasing ventilation may re-entrain pollutants if intakes are near contamination sources, so locating intakes and managing pressure are vital. Filters alone cannot fully prevent contaminants without controlling and intake locations. Reducing ventilation may be counterproductive, and optimizing ventilation and pressure balance is preferred. Question 10. To what extent does filter maintenance affect indoor air quality in large commercial HVAC systems, as demonstrated by Istachen's frequent dust complaints despite recent upgrades? A. Regular replacement ensures filters function at rated efficiency, removing particulates effectively. B. Filter maintenance has minimal effect if ventilation rates are more important. C. Increasing filter density indefinitely is the best approach regardless of maintenance. D. Filters only affect temperature control, not air quality. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Filter maintenance is critical because clogged or bypassed filters reduce particulate removal, degrading IAQ. However, ventilation rates also greatly influence air quality by diluting pollutants. Increasing filter density without maintenance causes pressure drops and system inefficiencies. Filters primarily remove particulates, not temperature control, which is handled by coils and air handlers. Therefore, both maintenance and proper ventilation rates are essential for maintaining IAQ. Question 11. During an IAQ assessment, Turner notices that the building's mechanical ventilation system is frequently off during peak occupancy hours to save energy. Occupants report headaches and drowsiness. What should Turner recommend as the best immediate corrective action? A. Implement demand-controlled ventilation based on CO levels to ensure adequate fresh air during occupancy. B. Increase filtration efficiency while keeping ventilation off to reduce particulate matter. C. Reduce occupancy to match the reduced ventilation rate. D. Seal or return air ducts to force fresh air intake. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Turning off ventilation during occupancy reduces fresh air, causing co-buildup and contaminant accumulation, leading to symptoms like headaches. Demand-controlled ventilation modulates airflow but requires operation during occupancy. Increasing filtration without fresh air will reduce CO or gaseous pollutants. Reducing occupancy may be impractical. Sealing return air ducts can create positive pressure of outdoor air in, but risk system imbalance. The best corrective measure is restoring ventilation operation or controlling fresh air delivery to maintain IAQ. Question 12. Which of the following best describes why maintaining neutral or slightly positive building pressure relative to outdoors is critical in healthcare facilities as observed by Howard? A. Prevents infiltration of outdoor airborne contaminants that could infect patients. B. Reduces the need for filtration by exhausting contaminated air rapidly. C. Minimizes energy consumption by limiting air exchange. D. Allows for increased humidity to improve patient comfort. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Healthcare facilities require positive pressure to keep outdoor contaminants out, protecting vulnerable occupants. This reduces pathogen infiltration but can increase energy consumption due to conditioning additional outdoor air. While positive pressure aids infection control, it does not inherently reduce filtration needs or increase humidity, which is managed separately. Minimizing energy use while maintaining pressure. Filtration balance is essential. The other options misinterpret how pressure control relates to energy or comfort. Question 13. Mr. Singh is evaluating a recently installed high-efficiency particulate air HEPA filter system in a lab where chemical vapors are causing complaints. What is the most likely limitation he should consider regarding this filtration method? A. HEPA filters do not effectively remove gaseous chemical pollutants like VOx. B. HEPA filters are not suitable for removing biological contaminants. C. HEPA filters create excessive noise, disrupting lab work. D. HEPA filters cause excessive humidity accumulation downstream. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. HEPA filters are highly effective at capturing particulate matter, including bacteria and some viruses, but they do not remove gases such as VOx or chemical vapors. While option is true that HEPA filters cannot remove gases, the main limitation in a chemical vapor scenario is the inability to filter gases. HEPA filters do reduce biological contaminants well, making option B incorrect. Noise and impacts are not primary limitations of HEPA filters. Gas phase filtration requires activated carbon or specialized adsorbents. Question 14. Based on the information provided by recent IAQS tests, is Martinez finds mold growth in the ductwork despite regular cleaning. What underlying factor is most likely contributing to this issue? A. Excessively high ventilation rates increasing moisture levels. B. Improper humidity control allowing condensation within ducts. C. Using filters with a MERV rating that is too high for the system. D. Overuse of UVT causing microbial resistance. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Mold growth in ducts usually results from moisture accumulation due to condensation when humidity control fails or if temperature gradients cause surfaces to fall below dew point. High ventilation typically reduces moisture, not increases it. Filters do not affect mold growth directly. UVT reduces microbes but does not cause resistance or mold proliferation. The most common cause is improper humidity control or leaks causing moisture buildup in duct surfaces, supporting mold growth despite cleaning. Question 15. In light of recent developments, Mr. Jackson is tasked with designing an IAQS improvement plan for a school with frequent asthma complaints. Which approach best addresses the root causes? A. Implement increased ventilation rates, upgrade filters to MERV 13 or higher, and manage indoor humidity. B. Reduce ventilation rates to conserve energy and rely on occupant symptom reporting. C. Increase outdoor air humidity above 65% to reduce dust mites. D. Install air ionizers throughout classrooms to remove allergens. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Effective IAQS management in sensitive environments like schools requires increasing ventilation to dilute indoor pollutants, using high-efficiency filtration to remove allergens and particulates, and controlling humidity within 40–60% to minimize mold and dust mite proliferation. Reducing ventilation increases contaminant buildup. Excess humidity fosters mold and dust mites, worsening asthma. Ionizers have limited effectiveness and potential ozone production risks. A comprehensive strategy focusing on ventilation, filtration, and humidity is essential. Question 16. While examining data from IAQS monitoring, Wilson notes consistent spikes in particulate matter near the building's main entrance during afternoon rush hour. Which strategy should be prioritized to reduce occupant exposure indoors? A. Installing vestibules and maintaining positive building pressure to limit particulate infiltration. B. Increasing the HVAC system's recirculation rate during peak times. C. Adding humidifiers to trap particulate matter in the air. D. Sealing all outdoor air intakes during peak traffic hours. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Installing vestibules and positive building pressure helps reduce pollutant infiltration but must be combined with ventilation strategies. Increasing recirculation without filtration risks spreading particulates inside. Humidifiers do not trap particles. They increase moisture but not particulate removal. Sealing outdoor air intakes reduces fresh air, worsening indoor pollution and co. The best immediate approach, optimizing filtration with controlled recirculation and entryway designed to minimize particulate ingress. Question 17. Demonstrated by recent IAQS investigations, Mr. Lopez finds high carbon dioxide levels in a conference room despite open windows. What underlying cause best explains this anomaly? A. Improper air distribution causing stagnant zones despite overall ventilation. B. Excessive outdoor air infiltration increasing CO. C. The presence of combustion appliances producing indoor CO. D. High humidity interfering with CO sensors. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. CO mainly accumulates from occupant respiration but can also come from combustion sources. Open windows should dilute CO, so elevated levels, despite ventilation, suggest additional CO sources, likely combustion appliances. Improper air distribution can cause localized stagnation but usually not overall elevated CO. Outdoor air infiltration reduces CO levels. Humidity affects sensor accuracy, but typically not enough to cause persistently high readings. Identifying combustion sources is critical to resolving unexpected CO spikes. Question 18. Taking into account the growing use of green building materials, Kim notices increasing complaints about odors and headaches. What is the most plausible cause and best corrective measure? A. VOC off-gassing from new materials. Increase ventilation and allow materials to off-gas before occupancy. B. Dust accumulation on new surfaces. Schedule more frequent cleaning. C. Low humidity causing increased VOC release. Install humidifiers. D. Filter bypass leakage. Replace filters with higher MERV rating immediately. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. New green building materials often emit VOCs initially, causing odor and discomfort. Increasing ventilation dilutes VOC concentrations and allowing off-gassing before occupancy minimizes exposure. Dust accumulation is unlikely the cause of complaints are about odors and headaches. Low humidity generally reduces VOC emissions, so increasing humidity is counterproductive. Filter bypass allows unfiltered air, but upgrading filters alone won't resolve VOC gas issues without source control and ventilation. Ventilation is the key solution. Question 19. Given the circumstances, Istopatize analyzing pressure differentials in a multi-story office tower. Which statement best explains the impact of stack effect on indoor air quality during winter? A. Stack effect causes warm air to rise and exit upper floors, drawing cold outdoor air into low floors, potentially increasing pollutant infiltration. B. Stack effect reduces air infiltration on low floors, improving IAQ. C. Stack effect balances indoor pressures, minimizing ventilation requirements. D. Stack effect only affects humidity control, not air infiltration. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Stack effect is a pressure difference caused by temperature gradients between indoor and outdoor air, making warm air rise and escape upper floors while pulling cold outside air into lower floors. This can lead to increased pollutant infiltration at lower levels and discomfort. It does not reduce infiltration or balance pressures, but can worsen IAQ if not managed. Stack effect influences air infiltration significantly, not humidity. Proper sealing and pressure control mitigate stack effect impacts. Question 20. How might one explain the relationship between duct leakage and indoor air quality problems encountered by Mr. Evans in an older building? A. Leaky ducts can allow unfiltered outdoor air, dust and moisture into the system, degrading IAQ. B. Duct leaks primarily affect energy efficiency and do not influence IAQ. C. Duct leakage reduces humidity levels, preventing mold growth. D. Sealing ducts always increases contaminant concentrations by reducing airflow. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Duct leakage can introduce unconditioned and unfiltered air containing dust, allergens, and moisture into supply air, negatively affecting IAQ. It can also disrupt intended air distribution and filtration. While duct leaks impact energy use, they also degrade IAQ. Duct leakage does not inherently reduce humidity or prevent mold. In fact, moisture infiltration can promote mold growth. Sealing ducts improves airflow control and reduces contamination risk. The misconception is that sealing increases contaminants. It typically improves IAQ. Question 21. Given the circumstances, Foster observes frequent complaints of dry throat and itchy eyes in a high-rise office despite meeting ventilation standards. What is the most likely underlying cause, and what should be her primary focus? A. Excessive indoor humidity causing mold growth. Prioritize dehumidification. B. Low humidity due to overconditioning. Focus on maintaining relative humidity between 40–60%. C. High particulate levels due to inadequate filtration. Upgrade to HEPA filters. D. Infiltration of outdoor allergens as seal building envelope leaks. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Symptoms like dry throat and itchy eyes often stem from low humidity, but if ventilation meets standards, infiltration of outdoor allergens through leaks is a common cause. Excessive humidity causes mold, but usually presents with different symptoms. HEPA filters improve particulate removal, but don't address infiltration directly. Maintaining humidity is critical, but not effective if allergens enter unfiltered. Leaks reduces infiltration and subsequent allergen exposure, improving occupant comfort and health. Question 22. While conducting an IAQ evaluation, Mr. Bradley finds elevated carbon monoxide levels near a shared furnace room. What is the most effective immediate action to ensure occupant safety? A. Increase ventilation near the furnace room and conduct combustion appliance inspection and maintenance. B. Replace all air filters with higher MERV-rated filters. C. Lower the indoor temperature to reduce cogeneration. D. Use ozone generators to neutralize umpany. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. CO is a colorless, odorless toxic gas produced by incomplete combustion. Increasing ventilation dilutes CO concentration, and proper inspection and maintenance of combustion appliances prevent leaks. High-efficiency filters do not remove gases like umpany. Lowering temperature doesn't affect CO production significantly. Ozone generators are harmful and ineffective for umpany. Safety protocols prioritize source control and ventilation to mitigate CO risks effectively. Question 23. Mr. Delgado notices mold growth inside the ceiling cavity after recent HVAC system upgrades. Which of the following is the most plausible cause, and what corrective action is warranted? A. Increased air pressure causing moisture intrusion. Balance system pressure properly. B. Condensation due to inadequate insulation and poor humidity control. Improve insulation and manage humidity. C. Excessive filtration efficiency drying the air. Reduce filter efficiency. D. Overuse of UVD causing mold resistance. Discontinue UVD. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Mold growth results from moisture accumulation, often caused by condensation when insulation is insufficient or humidity is high. Proper insulation and humidity management prevent this. Increased pressure alone doesn't cause mold unless it induces moisture intrusion. Filtration efficiency affects particulates, not moisture levels. Reducing it will not reduce mold. UVD does not induce mold resistance. Addressing insulation and humidity is the best corrective approach. Question 24. In a context of managing indoor air quality, is new and is asked to recommend the best ventilation strategy for a hospital isolation room. What should be her priority? A. Maintain negative pressure relative to adjacent areas to prevent contaminant escape. B. Maintain positive pressure to keep contaminants out. C. Use natural ventilation only to minimize HVAC energy use. D. Recirculate room air to maintain temperature and humidity. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Isolation rooms must be maintained at negative pressure relative to adjacent areas to contain airborne pathogens, preventing contamination spread. Positive pressure is used in protective environments to keep contaminants out. Natural ventilation is unpredictable and generally insufficient for hospitals. Recirculation without filtration can spread contaminants. Properly designed HVAC with controlled negative pressure filtered exhaust is essential. Question 25. Mr. Alvarez measures indoor VOC levels and finds them significantly above outdoor concentrations in a newly furnished office. What is the most effective approach to reduce occupant exposure? A. Increase outdoor air ventilation and implement source control by removing or sealing VOC-emitting materials. B. Install high-efficiency particulate air filters. C. Increase temperature to accelerate VOC off-gassing. D. Use of the units to neutralize VOCs. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. VOCs originate from materials like furniture and paints and require source control and ventilation to dilute concentrations. HEPA filters do not remove gases. Increasing temperature accelerates off-gassing, worsening exposure. UVD targets microorganisms, not chemical gases. Proper ventilation and removing or isolating VOC sources are the most effective measures. Question 26. While evaluating an older commercial building, Harper notices unbalanced pressure between floors causing complaints of odors migrating from the basement. What principle explains this phenomenon and the best remediation? A. Stack effect causes pressure differences driving air movement. A. Balance pressure with HVAC controls and seal pathways. B. High ventilation rates cause odor transmission. Reduce ventilation. C. Excessive humidity levels increase odor intensity. Dehumidify. D. Poor filtration causes odor migration. Replace filters. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Stack effect drives air movement vertically, causing odors from low floors to rise if pressure is unbalanced. Balancing pressure and sealing leak paths are best solutions. High ventilation typically dilutes odors, so reducing it worsens the problem. Humidity affects odor perception but is secondary. Filtration affects particulates, not gaseous odors. Addressing pressure balance is the key corrective measure. Question 27. In a high-occupancy conference hall, Mr. Scott observes elevated CO levels despite apparent adequate ventilation rates. What is the most probable cause and best corrective action? A. Poor air distribution causing stagnant zones. Improve mixing and airflow distribution. B. Filter clogging reducing ventilation effectiveness. Replace filters. C. High humidity interfering with ventilation sensors. Install humidifiers. D. Outdoor air contamination causing elevated CO. Seal building envelope. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Elevated CO typically indicates insufficient fresh air or poor air mixing. Poor air distribution can create dead zones with high CO. Filter clogging affects particulates but not CO measurement. Humidity can affect sensor accuracy but it's rare as the primary cause. Outdoor air contains low CO. Sealing building envelope won't raise CO. Improving airflow distribution is the most effective corrective action. Question 20. Demonstrated by recent studies, Mr. Allen is investigating complaints of respiratory irritation in a building with high indoor particulate counts despite using MERV 11 filters. What is the best explanation and corrective measure? A. Filters with MERV 11 rating may not capture smaller particles. Upgrading to MERV 13 or higher is advisable. B. Excess humidity is causing particulate adhesion. Install dehumidifiers. C. High outdoor air intake dilutes particles. Reduce ventilation rates. D. Of the units should be added to neutralize particulates. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. MERV 11 filters capture larger particles, but miss smaller respirable particles PM.5 and below that cause respiratory irritation. Upgrading to MERV 13 or higher improves capture efficiency. Excess humidity affects microbial growth, not particulate adhesion. Reducing ventilation increases contaminant buildup of the target's microorganisms, not particulates. Upgrading filtration is the best solution. Question 29. Mr. Kim is reviewing duct pressure data and suspects leakages affecting IAQS system efficiency. What is the most accurate statement regarding duct leakage effects? A. Leakage allows unfiltered air to enter supply ducts, degrading IAQS and reducing system performance. B. Leakage only impacts energy efficiency, not air quality. C. Duct sealing increases static pressure and reduces airflow. D. Leakage improves airflow by increasing fresh air exchange. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Duct leakage allows unfiltered, often unconditioned air to enter or escape the system, compromising IAQS and reducing efficiency. Leakage does not improve airflow or fresh air exchange. It causes uncontrolled air movement and pressure losses. Sealing ducts improves airflow and system balance. Leakage degrades both air quality and energy efficiency, making it critical to address. Question 30. With respect to IAQS monitoring, Carter must select between real-time particle counters and integrated sampling methods. What is the fundamental advantage of real-time monitoring in troubleshooting IAQS issues? A. Provides immediate data on particle concentrations, enabling prompt source identification and mitigation. B. Offers higher accuracy than integrated methods over long durations. C. Captures chemical pollutant levels better than integrated sampling. D. Requires less calibration and maintenance than integrated samplers. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Real-time particle counters offer immediate data for quick troubleshooting and source identification, allowing rapid response to IAQS events. However, integrated sampling methods typically provide more accurate, representative data over time. Particle counters do not measure chemical pollutants and usually require regular calibration and maintenance. Therefore, while real-time monitoring is valuable for Insights integrated methods are more accurate for long-term assessment.